Konnichiwa YouTube! Welcome back to Archeage 2.0 with your host OnlyOneShinobi, and today we're going to talk about Husbandry. How to power level your Husbandry, get it up to 15,000-20,000 as quickly as possible. And you may be wondering why. Why is it so important to power level Husbandry? If you're on a fresh start server, this is extremely profitable for you. If you can power level your Husbandry up to 15,000-20,000, you can start to make, let's see, 10,000 for chicken coops, 20,000 for ducks. What you're really looking for is up here the animal pens. So 40,000 for sheep, 40,000 for goats, and 50,000 for dairy, and so on. These are the things that are going to make you some money, especially if you get there first, because you can sell these sheep pens on the auction house for quite a bit of money on a fresh start server. So if you're not on a fresh start server, it may not be so important to power level your Husbandry, but if you want to get the reduction on labor, that's something you can do. So the first thing we're going to look at then, there are a few methods we can take a look at. The first thing is going to be turkeys. Now this is a very popular way to power level your Husbandry. If you buy a turkey here at the livestock merchant, they cost 12 silver, and they take only about they take 5 hours and 43 minutes to grow into adulthood, and then you basically just cut them down. So essentially you just buy a bunch of turkeys, place them on your land, and then let them go. Now if you feed them, you can help that go a little bit faster, obviously. I don't think I have any grain. Let me go grab some grain. But you place it down, you feed the turkey, and then a few hours later you come back and you kill it, and you get the Husbandry points when you kill it. So that's going to be one of the most popular ways that people do this. And the reason for that is because you can plant these turkeys pretty much anywhere, and let them grow, and then come back later after they're finished. So 5 hours and 8 minutes after you feed them. So every 5 hours you can harvest a bunch of turkeys. They're 15 labor each, and you'll actually get pelts, and you can sell the leather pelts on the auction house for a good profit. So as you can see, 400 pelts here are going for about 25 gold here on Curios. You can make your money back quite quickly and turn a nice profit. The only problem with this is that you need land to plant turkeys, and if you only have a 16, then I'm assuming you can plant roughly, I don't know, 40 or 50 turkeys, I'm not exactly sure, on a 16 by 16 farm, and then chop those down every 6 hours, 5 hours, and make some profit, and then rinse and repeat. The only thing with that is that you have to wait. You're going to have to wait for each harvest to kill the turkeys, and then put down another harvest and wait another 6 hours. And so that process takes a bit of time. It's not exactly quick if you don't have land. So you can plant these in the wild. That is something that you can do. If you're one of those people out there who like to do secret farms, you can buy 100 turkeys, plant them somewhere in the wild, and then come back and harvest them. But you do risk someone else stealing them. So it does cost 10 extra labor to place outside of protected land, just like anything else. So you are going to be spending a bit more labor that goes nowhere. And on a fresh start server, the labor and the Husbandry points that you want are going to be important. So I don't recommend planting them in the wild unless you have labor to spare and in case you're willing to risk it. But turkeys are generally the standard method for power leveling your Husbandry. The next method you can look at are beehives. Now this is also very popular, and this is because you can set these things down and then you don't have to come back and check them for another 4 days. They go through a series of maturation from sweet to prosperous, and when they're prosperous you can spend 600 labor to collect the honey. Now this is good because you can basically do whatever you want for 4 days, and then come back and you can harvest them and make a ton of Husbandry, get a ton of Husbandry proficiency. Now here we've got a 16 by 16 farm, and we've got eight Acorn Beehives, and so that's going to give you quite a bit of proficiency all in one go. It is labor intensive, so don't spend your labor while you're out there leveling or questing or PvPing. Come back and you can power level your Husbandry through this. The only thing here, the limiting factor really is time and gold. So whereas turkeys, you can come back every 6 hours, you can plant hundreds of them in the wild. Acorn beehives, you will not want to place in the wild. These things are expensive. If we check the auction house, for example, and just type in acorn beehive, these things are extremely expensive. They're 70 gold each here on Curios. They're probably close to 100 gold on a fresh start server, and that's because they take something called aspen hardwood. Aspen hardwood is a rare drop from aspen trees, so you'll probably notice that people grow aspen trees around the clock, and that's because these aspen hardwoods you can sell for 10 gold each. It's a good way to make lumber and make some extra income from a rare proc, but you're going to need 5 of these to create an acorn beehive, and so making these things and getting this started takes a lot of gold to invest in the beginning, which is why you don't want to plant these in the wild. And basically you have to wait 4 days in between. So we're already about a week and a half into the patch and the fresh start servers. People are probably starting to put up beehives, but in the long run, this is going to be a good way to level your husbandry if you don't really care about the time. So you can imagine then 600 by 8, about 5k labor every 4 days. So that's good, but every 4 days, basically. We're a week and a half into the patch, and some people are already making those bamboo coops and those dairy pens. If you're willing to wait 2 to 3 weeks, then you can do this. It's not going to get you there first, but it is a very easy and lazy way to level your husbandry because you don't have to do anything for 4 days. And that's basically all there is to beehives. If you're curious about beehives, how to make them, and how to get a queen for them, I do have a video on that. I'll link that here and you can check that out. That covers the 2 most well-known ways, turkeys and beehives. We're going to go ahead and jump over to the Morpheus server and take a look at some other ways that you can power level your husbandry without having to wait for growth times. And that basically involves crafting. So let's go and take a look at that now. Okay, so we're over here on Morpheus to take a look at the second method, which is making combined feed. Now, if you don't know what this is, it's used to feed the sheep or large livestock animals in husbandry. And this is actually under your husbandry tab. If you open your crafting window, go to husbandry gear, you'll see combined feed. This takes clover, pumpkins, and hay. I've been growing them here on my own to supplement my own production, but you can buy them straight from the auction house and make a profit from these, and I'll show you how. So the first thing you're going to need is definitely a improved scarecrow or farmer's workstation. Without this, you cannot craft the materials. So you'll need one of these. Hopefully you have one by now. And you just come up to it, open your crafting window, click husbandry, and you'll see the recipe here. Now this takes 6 clover, 3 pumpkins, and 2 hay bale, and I've already made a stack of 100, and I'm going to list it up on the auction house now just to see how quickly it sells, because this doesn't take too long to sell. People need these for their animals, and they're selling right now for $12.85, so we're going to list them up for $12.50 and see if we can sell it by the end of this video. Okay, so that's listed. So basically what you need to do is to decide if this is a profitable way to power level your husbandry is check the prices of these materials on the auction house. Now, I already did this previous to this video, but you're going to need to take a look at each of the ingredients and check the prices per ingredient. So clover here, for example, is now 6 silver 90. Earlier today, it was only about 5 silver. So I will use that calculation in our calculations. You'll need 6 clover, 3 pumpkin, and 2 hay for each set of 10 combined feed. So make sure that you get the prices on all of this before you purchase them. Pumpkins here are also about 6 silver, 7 silver, and hay bales, which you get from farming all types of grain, are sitting at roughly 13 silver. So the prices have gone up just a little bit since I started filming this video, but we'll go ahead and do that anyway. So what you'll do is you'll buy out a bunch of them. I recommend doing them in sets of 100, so you'll need at least 60 clover, 30 pumpkin, and 20 hay bales. You just come up here and go ahead and craft. So let me just pull up my proficiency list while we do this so you can see. My husbandry now is 1380, and we're going to go ahead and craft, we'll just craft all of them. We can make 14. Each one of these that you craft is 10 labor. So obviously if you're wanting to get to 20k proficiency in husbandry, it's going to take a long time. But this is going to be the fastest way because there's no limiting factor, right? If you're growing or raising animals on your farm, you have to wait for the cooldown every time. Something like sheep have, 6 hours, or duck pens have 6 hours. If you grow the larger animals, that's going to take time as well. So this is something that you can do continuously, as much as you have labor and money, and then you can turn that into a profit in the end. According to my calculations, each stack of 100 combined feed at the current prices will give you about 5 gold profit. So it's not too bad overall in terms of crafting and making money as you power level your husbandry. Okay, as for the third method to power level your husbandry, it's going to be the larders. So again, you'll need to go into your husbandry tab, take a look at husbandry gear, and choose multi-purpose aging larders. Now, if you're curious about what these things are used for, you can watch my video previously on how to make larders and use them, but basically these are more advanced level trading packs. You get aged larders that are worth a little bit more money. These things actually are required level 30 to use them, I believe, which we are level 33, so no problem. And people are going to be turning to these as soon as the server gets more advanced. So here on Morpheus, this may not be the best way to level at the moment. I'm not sure how quickly these things will sell. But if we do check larder, for example, we've got 2 here listed for 18 gold. That's 9 gold a piece. 9 gold, 37 silver each for the multi-purpose aging larders. It appears like no one has bought this out. So this is up for 7 minutes still and it hasn't sold. So I'm not sure if this is really going to be profitable for you on a fresh start server. On a more advanced server like Curios, this is definitely the way to go. Not the way to go, but one of the ways to go. And the reason for that is because when you craft these, it actually costs more labor, and that's good for you if you're trying to power level your husbandry. So at 65 labor each, this is going to be much faster than combined feed, and you may be able to turn this around and sell it for a profit. You'll see that the ingredients here are 5 lumber, 5 stone bricks, 5 iron ingots, and 6 Shadagon's blessings. Now again, you can buy all of these on the auction house, but over here on Morpheus, the prices are still quite high, and you're going to have to buy them in a large bunch. So as you can see, lumber is selling for 100 in a stack of 100. You can buy a 50 stack, for example, but you're going to need a lot of money to invest into this. I imagine that currently on the other servers, the prices are roughly similar because people are still upgrading their houses. So right now at this time, it might be a little bit expensive to get started. With the current prices on all of this, if you sell them at the prices listed on the auction house, you should be making roughly 2 gold or 3 gold profit on each piece, on each larder that you craft. So this person here, for example, with 2 larders is making a 6 gold profit. And it's not that bad. You can craft a bunch of these and list them up. On a mature server, these things will sell quite quickly. Here on Morpheus, because the server is still new, that might not be the best way to go. That about does it for power leveling husbandry. As you can see, there are a few different ways to do that. We covered turkeys, honey, combined feed, and lastly the larders. If you're looking for something that's not restricted by time, because these things take time to recover and to mature, then I do suggest combined feed to start out with, and then once you build up enough money, you can switch to making larders, assuming that they sell quickly enough. So I hope this was helpful for you, and if you enjoyed this video, definitely leave me a like and a comment, and stay tuned for more proficiency guides coming up soon. Alright, thanks for watching, and Shinobi out!